Welcome back to the Rub Some Dirt on It podcast. I'm your host, Coach Brian, and today I'm very excited to have Coach Chesley Good. Chesley and I have been coaches from afar, typically on both sides of the field, and so I'm really anxious to kind of hear his story, why he does what he does, and just to get to know him better. So, Chesley, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is fun. So, like I said, we have kind of coached from afar.
Yep.
I've known of you. You've probably known of me. I don't know.
Sure.
But it feels like your kids are like a year ahead of where mine are. So we're kind of here, and then you go up, and then I come and catch you. It's kind of one of those things where it's interesting. So how many kids do you have?
So I have an 11-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And she's sixth grade at Creighton Middle. And then I have a 9-year-old. My son just turned 9. And he is at Satchel Ford. And then we have a 3.5-year-old.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So not necessarily how we planned it, but that's what the man upstairs blessed us with. So, but yeah, and I've coached, I've coached the 11 and 9-year-old probably in some form or fashion in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And you typically do fall and spring sports and just kind of keep the rotation going, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do fall, spring. I did basketball this year. I didn't want to coach. I kind of got voluntold.
Yeah.
The guy who runs our church league kind of said, if you don't do it, we're not going to probably not be able to have enough to have a team. So reluctantly I did, but I mean, I enjoy it. And, deep down, I would have regretted not coaching. But yeah, I do spring. We don't do summer. We don't have anything in the summer. My kids do swim team.
Okay.
We travel a little bit, mainly just hang out in Columbia at the pool.
What's your sports background? Did you play growing up?
Yeah, so I started playing sports at 5-6 years old, t-ball. We lived in Somerville. My parents were divorced young. My mom remarried, and we moved to a very small town, St. George, 2,500 people, halfway between here and Charleston. So it's off 95 and it's off 26. And so I played, in that town, I played t-ball. We had football, church basketball. We had soccer, but only 2 years. Just not a lot of interest. So I think when I was maybe 7 or 8, so I only have 2 years of soccer, which is kind of ironic that I coach it when I really don't know anything about it. But yeah, I played all through middle school, and then I transferred my freshman year in high school to a small private school and played football, basketball, baseball, and then golf.
Okay.
So I played JV football for a year and then played varsity for 3, and then started all 4 years varsity basketball, 2 years varsity baseball, then golf, and then senior year tore my ACL, and so I didn't play a spring sport.
Hung it up.
That was it.
What's your favorite sport?
I mean, I loved basketball. Probably basketball and football probably were the two that I liked the most. And, I thought about it. My son, baseball's not his thing.
Okay.
He gets too bored. It's not fast enough. And, I liked baseball, but I think it's because my buddies played.
Yeah.
It was just, we had one small field in the middle of town, and that's what you did, when you're 9 through 12. And then you played Pony League, and it was same guys. But I was always either pitcher, catcher, center field, had a lot of action.
Right.
So sadly, I never got to experience like right field and just sitting there. And so I can see the kind of the aspect of why my son would get bored with it. But if I had to narrow it down, probably football would be my best memories.
Yeah. So you coach primarily soccer and football
and basketball
now.
Yep. So I coach those 3. The basketball I coached my daughter's team this year.
Okay.
We were 6th and 7th in the Columbia Youth or the Christian Youth Basketball League in Columbia. And we were all 6th graders, so we didn't have any 7th. And we did okay. We won a couple games.
Is she athletic?
She is. She, she struggled the first couple years that she played sports. And she tried hard, but, when she would run, I told her this, it's painful watching her run. She just couldn't run. Yeah. But she tried hard. Yeah. She gave it her best. And then all of a sudden, one summer, I think she grew like 6 inches, 7 inches. She just shot up. And she went from being probably one of the ones on the team that don't play a lot to being, one of the best players on her team. And now she plays center mid, protects the goalie. Mm-hmm. She's physical. She's tall. She's 11. She's probably 5'5".
Do you coach her soccer team too?
I don't.
Okay.
Once they get to
where it requires strategy.
Yes.
That's where I'm tapping out as well.
Yep. I feel like right now I have the Jimmies and the Joes, and I know the basics, and I know where to tell them where to be and what to do. But when it becomes full strategy, I know my limitations.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat there.
Yeah.
Like, obviously I started, our 9-year-olds match up. So that's where kind of we've hit it on the gridiron and the soccer field. And it's like trying to bring along all their friends I don't have that with Hollis, but I have it with Everett, right?
Yeah.
So Everett, I started coaching basically a core group of him and his class in the 4-5s.
Yep.
And we've been going all the way through. And now this season, I was like, I'm not coaching 3 teams. I did that last spring. We're not doing it again.
Yeah.
So Everett, you can play up. And I just let all of his friends know, hey, Everett's playing up. If you guys want to move up and play up, you can. So half of our team are 7-year-olds.
Yeah, y'all did that in football too, right?
Yeah, did it in football too. And we hold our own.
Yeah.
But I know going into teams where they're mostly 8-9-year-olds playing 8-9-year-olds and the talented 8-9-year-olds, we're going to struggle, but let them take their lumps, and then in next year we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Hollis doesn't have that core group that he's coming along with.
Right.
He's kind of this lone wolf out there doing his thing, and I love it. And he's willing to just charge ahead and do all the sports, but he doesn't have that kind of core group as much. Certainly not through the YMCA system.
Yeah. I'm going to be in the same boat with, my 3-year-old. I don't know many of the parents in the school. I'm kind of the old dad. Yeah. I'm 46.
I have a 4-month-old now. So.
Yeah. So you're going to be in that same boat.
Same thing. My 5-year-old, he's going to be 9, and then I'm going to be starting all over with a 4-year-old trying to teach him how to play all the sports and stuff.
But like I know some of the parents, but not many. And so his core will have to come together, however it comes together. But I may coach, but there may be somebody with a lot more energy at that point
that's right.
that decides they want to do it, and I'll gladly let them. I want to give him the same opportunity the other two have had, at least coach him in something.
That's kind of how I feel too. It's like you start off. I have three boys, right, 2 years apart, all 2 years apart.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I've coached Hollis, I've coached Everett, I've coached Jacob. I'm coaching Jacob because I feel like it's the right thing to do. I've coached all the other ones.
Sure,
give him the same experience. Give me the same experience, really.
All boys?
All boys. And then
the new one's a boy?
The new one's a boy, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So bless your wife.
So this is why I kind of started this podcast. I'm doubling down. This is my life now.
Yeah.
It's not like anything's really changing there. But my boys play football, basketball, baseball. My oldest did soccer last fall.
Right.
No, he didn't do soccer last fall because he got his black belt in karate. He had to have this one special time during the Saturday mornings in order to take karate class. So he took last fall off, but every fall, every spring, we're doing both baseball and soccer.
Yeah. You're not busy.
No.
Yeah.
My wife's about had it with me,
Yeah,
but
I bet.
I'm like, baby, the train has left the building
Yeah.
for this season. Let's evaluate next season. We're not going to do flag football in the summer like we did last year. It was just kind of too hot, too much,
Yeah.
bled into baseball season too much. So,
Yeah, we do. I mean, I want mine to play everything. I don't want them to pick one and roll with it. I think you learn different lessons from different sports. You use different muscles. I mean, I remember, we would play football, thought we were in the best condition of our life, and we were in good condition. And our team was good. Our football team was always good. And we played for one state championship, one game away from it my sophomore year. And senior year, we lost, I think, in the second round too. But as soon as your season's over, literally basketball practice starts that Monday.
Yeah.
And then you get on the basketball court, gassed. It's like you haven't run at all because, it's just a different you're
type of
activating
running.
different muscles, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to keep mine moving through. They swim. I think swimming's good.
Yeah, swimming's great.
Kind of more of an individual type deal, but make them better swimmers, but keep their body, keep it conditioned. But I'm going to try to keep them as best I can to play as many sports are out there. My daughter, she likes basketball. She's really good at basketball. And she likes soccer. I'd like to get her to play volleyball, but that's tough because the commitment it's a lot.
I'm working on a volleyball coach.
Yeah.
I've reached out to her twice. Haven't been able to make that connection, but
yeah.
I definitely want a volleyball coach to kind of bring another perspective to this world that we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
And it, from the outside, it looks equally as demanding and challenging and fun too, probably.
Yeah.
I love playing volleyball.
It's one of my favorite sports to play.
Yeah.
Growing up, I mean, we would go to the beach and play at Edisto Beach. Me and my buddies would go to this cabana, and it was games all day. I mean, hours and hours and hours.
One of my fondest 4th of July memories is I was living out in Hermosa Beach in California.
Yeah.
And I had a valet job at the Marriott overnight. So my shift started at, like 8 o'clock and ended at 6 in the morning when the sun rose up.
Okay.
So I left there, went to the beach to claim our court at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Spread out everything, put out our lines, put out our chairs, claim that court for the day, because Hermosa Beach and Manhattan Beach on 4th of July is nuts.
Right.
So I was there 6 a.m., planted the flag, and we played beach volleyball all day long.
Yeah.
And we had friends that knew that this was the plan, and they were all coming down, and just that amount of activity and sun and fun, it was it was awesome.
I love volleyball. I mean, it's kind of exciting. I think they have a men's team now.
Do they really?
Yeah. And I think that's kind of, it's big Midwest, Northeast. There's a lot of men's, and of course West Coast.
Yeah.
But you don't really see it here. But I'm pretty sure Florida has a team now.
Interesting.
So I think that's maybe something that's going to catch on, like lacrosse. I mean, lacrosse. Who would have thought 10 years ago that lacrosse would catch on down here like it has?
I remember watching American Pie, and they were playing lacrosse in American Pie. I'm like, we don't play lacrosse in Wisconsin and Michigan. This is like a Hollywood script here,
right?
Putting lacrosse in here, and it's just like, okay. But now lacrosse is huge and growing, and it's a cool sport. I think it gets a lot of baseball crossover. So, in baseball, if you get to about 13 and you realize, am I going to play or am I not going to play?
Yeah.
Am I good enough to play, go through the school system and play, or am I not? And then at that point, they're like, okay, lacrosse needs some people.
Yeah, no,
and then
truly.
they all jump over to lacrosse.
That's it.
And I think it's great because the more activity that kids can have, the more team-oriented things, just
Staying out of trouble.
Staying out of trouble.
I mean, truly.
I had a cousin way back when, and he was staying with our family for a little while, and I'm like, we got to get him into some sports and activities, and because he was just struggling.
Sure, yeah.
And I had another cousin that was kind of in the similar boat, and for him to be part of a team, he was a part of the baseball team because my dad was the coach, and my dad was like, "You're playing baseball."
Yeah.
and that helped him kind of just be a part of something, right?
That's right.
And not felt like they was outcasted.
Yeah. I mean, I my rule, as long as I can enforce it, I want them to play some type of sport, and that can be golf, track, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But something to keep them. I mean, to keep you busy, keep you out of trouble. The summers they can do what they want, but I think you learn so many lessons in life through sports.
What are some of the lessons you might have learned from some of the coaches you had growing up?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you my story. I played JV football when I transferred to the private school I went to, and had success. I was running back, but I didn't like the coach, the varsity coach. He's very intimidating, big guy, and I was like, I'm not going to play. I decided I wasn't going to play football, and my brother called me, or was home. He went to Citadel. He said, "Hey, can you ride with me real quick?" And I said, "Yeah, where are we going?" He said, "Just ride with me real quick." And so we left our house. We were going into town, and I saw my football coach's truck. He drove a big red Dodge, and he basically said, "I hadn't seen you all summer. Where have you been?" And I was like, didn't know what to say. And he's like, "Well, go ahead and get your physical, and I'll see you at practice." And that was it. And I hated my brother at the time for doing it. But looking back now, I would have regretted it my entire life. So I showed up to practice, and I think 2-a-days we started, and my second or third day, I told my stepdad came in to wake me up, and I said, I'm not going back. He's like, "Yeah, you are. Get up." And that was it. And after that, I never looked back. Loved every minute of it, but the lesson you learn is things aren't easy. Yeah. And you getting up on a Thursday of 2-a-days after you've gone through full pads the day before, and 2 days, 2 days for 3 straight, and it's hard to get out of bed. I mean, you literally have to kind of just get your stuff moving. And so I think that one of the lessons there is, again, sometimes you're going to struggle. And when I played against some guys that were a lot bigger than me and got my butt whooped.
Yeah. I mean, life's going to keep knocking you down.
That's right.
Sports allows you to learn how to fight through adversities.
For sure.
You get adversities everywhere throughout life. And if you're always coddled and you never learn how to actually push through it, depend on others, and, it's helpful.
We were not coddled.
Yeah.
In any, the stuff that my coach did, nowadays I don't think it would fly. No. My first varsity game, I started on defense. We were probably number 3, playing the number 1 team in the state. It's his best friend, so of course he wants to beat this guy.
Yeah.
Worse than anybody. And all week I played corner on defense. Don't get beat deep. Whatever you do, don't get beat deep. Keep everybody in front of you. And literally the first play of the game, this team had a running back that was really good. He ended up playing baseball at Clemson, good athlete. First play of the game, play action, I took a step forward, watched the receiver run by me, and I was like, oh, gosh. I ran him down at about the 5-yard line and, came out the game. My coach picked me up by my face mask. And, I was off the ground, just screaming in my face. And, I learned a lesson that day. Don't get beat deep. Listen to your coaches.
That's right.
And pay attention to what they tell you. But, I learned, and I didn't sulk about it.
Yeah.
I wanted to get better, and you make mistakes. The only way you get better is by making mistakes.
What would you say your coaching philosophy is?
So,
you think you have one?
Yeah, when I coach the kids, And obviously as they get older, they're a little bit more responsive. You can coach them a little bit differently. But in general, I do want them to have fun, and we're going to have fun. I want them to know that when I'm talking, you don't talk, because they need to learn that. And we got to show good sportsmanship. We got to be, we got to be good winners,
Mm-hmm.
but we got to be good losers too. And we don't want to lose. But at the end of the day, I want them to learn. I want them to get better, and I want them to try as hard as they can. And if they're trying and playing their best, I'll never get mad at them. But if I see sulking and head hanging and an attitude, I don't want to play there, whatever, they're coming out of the game, and I'll talk to them about it. But they've got to learn that not everybody, like, this is what I have to tell my team. And my 9-year-old soccer team is very talented.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of kids that are really good, but I have to tell them everybody can't score goals. Okay. You got to play your part. And the first game they kind of struggled, but they've been really good. Nobody's given me any, as soon as I tell them to go on defense, they're fine. And when you're coaching and you see that and kind of see them evolve and change, and adapt to your philosophy, it gives you a little bit of pride in knowing that you're doing the right thing and you're getting through to these kids. Just have fun, be a good sport, and try your best.
Yeah.
And if you do those 3 things, you're going to be successful, whether on the field or in life.
Absolutely.
My,
even the 4-year-olds, every team I start with, it doesn't matter. I say I have 3 rules. This isn't necessarily the philosophy, but it's 3 rules that I set. Don't talk when I'm talking or when any of the other coaches are talking. Keep your hands to yourself.
That's a good one for 4, yeah.
And even for the 6 and 7-year-olds, I mean, they're constantly touching each other. I'm like, stop touching each other.
Yep.
So no talking, no touching each other, and maximum effort. If you give me maximum effort, I don't care what happens, as long as you are trying your very best.
Yeah.
That's all I can ask for.
Yep.
And whatever happens, happens. If you're listening to what I'm trying to instruct you to do and you're giving maximum effort to try to figure out that, we'll have success. It'll be fine.
That's right. Yeah, no, I think I might implement a new rule next year. I like the hands to yourself thing. But yeah, the main thing is try your best,
Mm-hmm.
and don't leave a game wishing you would have played harder than you did.
Right. It was funny. We had, so we were down 5 players last week.
Yeah.
And my Everett, my middle, he and Hollis play on the same travel baseball team.
Okay.
But he's 2 years younger. So he's like the first one off the bench. So the way the system is, like, they'll be able to pinch run for catchers and pitchers. So Everett's really fast. He's always the one that's like, okay, if the pitcher gets on, you're running for him. So I was like, buddy, you're going to not play in the field all that much in the first game of this travel tournament because they're really going to try to win the first game.
Sure, yeah.
And you probably will get the pinch run, and that's it. So do you want to go to baseball or do you want to go to soccer? And he chose the right one. He went to soccer. He played. But I was down so many players, I had him playing the whole game.
Yeah.
And then he went and played baseball in the afternoon. But he was exhausted. He gave maximum effort the whole time. And it was hot Saturday.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And we were on the phone with my wife, and he was like, I played my heart burst. And what he was trying to say was, I played my heart out. And now it was just so funny because he played his heart until his heart burst.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, thank God that didn't happen. But he was wiped out after it.
So how do you navigate the travel mixed in with the rec, with everything else that's going on?
So, my wife recently was like, we got to scale back a little bit. This is way too much. I get like 10 minutes with everybody before we're off to the next thing. And I'm like, I hear you. We'll evaluate it next season, but the train has left the station and we got to deal with what we got to deal with now. And she had suggested like, hey, maybe if you assist. I'm like, I can't. If I'm the head coach, I can control the schedule.
Right.
So that helps. But I don't coach on the travel ball team that they're on.
Okay.
And the reason why we're on this travel ball team is because they are welcoming to multi-sport athletes. There's a lot of travel ball teams that are like, you have 4 days of practice and you can't play other sports. And I see this in soccer. Like we were interested in, Everett got invited to go play United, and we know that United is a big deal and you're not going to be able to play baseball and soccer.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just want to play with my friends. I don't care about playing in the travel soccer league. So the rec helps because it's not as demanding.
Yeah.
And ultimately at this age, all I want them to do is experience as much as possible. And eventually the other ones will fall off.
Sure.
It just
yeah.
naturally falls off. Right. So games are priority. So if there's a game conflicting with a practice, go to the game.
Sure. Yeah.
If there's 2 practices at the same time, which one haven't you, like, you get to choose. If I'm coaching, I'm not coaching both of them at that point because I can't play in 2 places at one time. So typically they come with me to what I'm coaching.
Yeah.
Like tonight we have soccer practice at 5:30. My oldest has a baseball game at 7:30.
Okay.
So I'm like, no, you're coming to practice.
Right.
There's no reason why it's not going to be that hard where you're going to get wiped out and can't play. So you're going to come to soccer practice, and then we have an hour to eat, and then we're going to your baseball game, and that's it.
Rinse and repeat.
And they're rinse and repeat. So we had rain, but we normally would have had a game. He would have had a game Monday.
Okay.
He has a game today. Yesterday we had a baseball game for Everett, the middle. And then Thursday he's got another game. Friday my youngest has a game, and the other 2 got asked to play as subs in a baseball game. And then Saturday morning we got baseball practice and then 2 soccer games. And then Sunday we got 2 practices, and we just keep rotating it through. And
I thought I was busy.
And it's this season has actually worked out where I've been able to adjust conflicts pretty easily.
Yeah.
And there
good.
hasn't been a whole lot. But it was very apparent after 2 weeks at home for Christmas this season, this year. And they need something to do every day, or it is just wild. Mm-hmm. I mean, so...
And that chaos is going to continue with 4, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you play growing up? Like, what were your sports?
Everything.
Yeah, everything?
So played soccer.
Okay.
Played soccer all the way through 8th grade. I went to a small high school. My high school only had 160 kids in it.
Same.
And it was a public school, but small. Because the town only had 2,400 people in it.
Same.
So I played soccer all the way up through 8th grade. And we didn't have a soccer team at our high school. Mm-hmm. So you had to go to the neighboring high school to play soccer if you wanted to. They had a co-op system.
Oh, wow, okay.
But in Wisconsin at that time, I don't know what it is now, but you had to choose between soccer and football. And
same season?
Yeah, same season.
Yeah.
So here we choose soccer or baseball.
Right.
So it's a difference, right? And there was no way I was choosing soccer over football.
Right.
I started playing football tackle football when I was 10, 5th grade, and then played tackle football every season through college.
Was that a school league?
No, it wasn't a school league. So it was just a normal peewee football league in the area. And our town, when I first started, didn't have it, and the town next to us didn't have it. So we would drive. Me and 3 other buddies would drive. Our parents would drive us.
Right.
45 minutes.
I was about to say, if you're driving at 10, that's good.
Yeah. Our parents would drive us 45 minutes to a neighboring town in Illinois.
To play football.
Just to play tackle football.
Wow.
And then after a year or 2, the two of the neighboring towns got it that were closer, got teams that were in that same league.
Sure.
But we were like, well, we're already part of this system, so we just kept going over there to be on that same Raiders team.
Yeah. What was the age?
You could start at 10 or 9 was the youngest.
Okay.
And then they did it by weight. So because I was like the smallest kid in my class until I was about a sophomore in high school. But that year between freshman and sophomore year, that was my big growth spurt. I went from the smallest kid to one of the bigger kids in the class. And so in 7th grade, I was playing lightweights and heavyweights. And I was still able to run the ball because I was only about 85 pounds.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So you played running back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I played running back all through from the time I started Pee Wee football through high school. And then I played defensive back, mainly corner at Carolina.
Yep.
And so
Which do you like better? Sorry to interrupt, but
so my favorite sport is baseball.
no, but I mean between running back and between offense, defense.
Running back.
Yeah.
And I played corner at Carolina because I felt like it would be the best chance for me to see the field.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I probably should have been a receiver.
Slot guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the time, Coach Gudikins was there as the defensive backs coach. He was also like the manager of the walk-ons because I walked on and then stayed for 5 seasons and got a letter and ended up, captain for a game. And it was a great experience. I had 3 shoulder dislocations that kind of set me back while I was at Carolina. But I really enjoyed playing cornerback when I was playing. I hold every record that my high school had for touchdowns, rushing, every scoring, all of it. Because I was the kicker, I was the running back, I starting cornerback, the whole thing in high school.
Never came off the field.
Never. I came off the field for kickoffs. Okay. that was my one play off. I didn't do kickoffs because our coach had a philosophy. He squibbed every kick. Even though if he had me do it, I would kick it in the end zone every time, which would be a touchback.
Right.
His philosophy was he's going to squib it. There's no chance to run it back.
Create some chaos.
And that would give me my one playoff.
Yeah.
Every.
No kidding.
But typically by this fourth quarter for sure, the game was so far out of reach, I never played the fourth quarter.
So you had a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a little, out of 160 kids, 44 kids were on the football team.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. So
that's like half the boys if you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that made up the varsity, and then they took the top 15 players, and the rest were JV.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, ours was similar. I mean, we had.
And then
I graduated 34 people.
Yeah, 36 was in my class.
And the grade, above me might have had 45. We probably had the same numbers.
So we rolled right from tackle football, into basketball. I started playing basketball at the YMCA when I was in 2nd grade, and played that every year until through high school.
Yeah.
And then baseball the same way. You start off at T-ball, you go all the way through. My dad was the baseball coach most of my baseball career up through high school.
That's awesome. Not many people get to do that.
We have a great picture of him like walking off the mound, and I was on the mound, and he was probably yelling at me, but he had these really big like man hand, like huge hands, and thick fingers, and he would just poke my chest like this. I do it to my kids now too, but it was like, get this.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do much other than jab me right here, and I knew exactly what.
Message received.
Yes.
But baseball was your favorite?
Baseball's always been my favorite sport to watch, to play. I was just way better at football.
Yeah.
And growing up in Wisconsin, my high school baseball season was 13 games.
Oh yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Like
You're just getting started. And
you're
it's
just
over.
getting started,
Yeah.
right? So you don't build up enough at bats to really feel like how good you could be or how much of a rhythm you can get in. And baseball's not a huge sport in Wisconsin because you only have so much time to play.
Yeah.
And so it was either football or basketball were kind of the two sports that people gravitated to. And so football was just a natural thing for me.
Yeah, I played baseball for 2 years, varsity. I was like Willie Mays Hayes. I could run like Mays, but hit like
Yeah.
I wasn't a great hitter. And my sophomore year, I think I started the last game of the year pitching. I'm a lefty, and so I probably would have been, and completely by default, our number one pitcher my junior year. And I got the flu right at the end of my junior year during tryouts, and so I didn't go to tryouts. I mean, I know I would have. Obviously, there was a spot for me on the team.
Yeah.
But one of my best friends kind of talked me into playing golf. He's like, just play golf. It'll be different, be more fun. And the state tournament, you get to miss 2 days of school, so that's a big deal. So I didn't go out for baseball, and the baseball coach, I went to the first game, and he called me over, and he was like, hey, don't even think about trying out next year. You're already cut.
Wow.
So he took it personally,
Wow.
and he was a nice guy, but I guess it just, I don't know, I guess I pissed him off by not playing. And, I mean, I would have been his number one pitcher, but that's by default. But I didn't love, I don't know, I didn't love baseball. I liked baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I like watching it. Grew up around here, big Braves fan. But playing it, I liked football and basketball better. I didn't dislike it. I wasn't as passionate about it as I was those two sports.
How often do you golf now?
I mean, not as much as I would like.
Never.
If I can play once a month, I'm happy. Now, it's I don't know. I've had a little bit of a little shoulder nagging thing, and so
I have the same thing going on.
my 3-year-old's heavy, and lifting him and up and down. I don't know when I did it, but it's not bad. It's just enough to pinch to let me know it's there. But
On my TikTok though is all like frozen shoulder ads. I'm like,
yeah, mine too.
I don't have frozen shoulder.
on
It just hurts.
on my feeds, I'm getting more stuff about stretching back and shoulder. But I like to play. I mean, I'm not very good, but I like to get out there and hit it.
Where you're going to play at the Masters? Not at the Masters. In Augusta, right? With a buddy.
Yeah, we're going to play today actually. In I don't even know the course, but I don't think the other guys I'm playing with are very good either. So
it'll be a fun time.
it should be a good time.
And then tomorrow you're going to the first round.
Tomorrow I'm going to the first round. I've actually never been to. I've been to a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday practice round. I've never been to the actual tournament. And I've always wanted to go on a Thursday or Friday. I don't think I'd want to go on Sunday. I like to sit on the couch and watch because I want to see every shot. So I'm excited to see it when it actually matters. And
so Masters Week is something that I've always found very interesting. So growing up in Wisconsin, it's not the same. Like the Masters is obviously everyone knows the Masters is the Masters, right?
Sure, yeah.
But it's not looked at the same in the Midwest as it is South Carolina, Georgia, the South.
Oh yeah.
and when my wife's family is a big golfing family. Like her dad and brother golf all the time. And it was like an indoctrination to this is the Masters and we have an egg salad on Sunday and no one's coming. Mimi and Pops are not having any grandkids over on Sunday because they're watching the Masters and you better be too. And I was fortunate enough to get to go 2 years ago and it's amazing. It is like Disneyland for adults.
It is.
And but this week is just so energizing in this area.
It is. I mean, and I don't
Everyone
know how to
busts out their master shirts and
Yeah.
the golf attire, and it's like, oh, spring is in the air.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's usually around Easter, but it's like the signal that spring's here, and like usually the weather's great. I don't know what it is about it, but I mean, growing up, even like that was a big deal. Masters Week, everybody kind of got excited, and I guess it's around spring break too. And so as a kid, you knew if it wasn't spring break's coming, and I think when you're on the course, I mean, you appreciate the grounds a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's like a pine cone drops. Somebody comes and picks it up, and the prices, obviously, it's insane that they're still $1.50 for a sandwich or whatever. But to walk those grounds and think about who else walked it, and the appreciation level, I feel fortunate that I've been, again, never during the tournament, but to be able to go this year. Luckily, a friend of mine just reached out and said he had an extra ticket. And
That's awesome.
you just tell me when.
Yeah. The idea of just golf is a lifetime skill, right? Like one of the questions I typically ask, so what do you do for a living that allows you to be able to coach so much?
Sure.
So what is that? But then that element of golf and business is a lifetime skill. Do you
It's
teach
huge.
Have you started teaching your son how to play golf?
So a little bit, he likes to drive the cart. That's really more his speed. But no, I think it's definitely a lifetime skill. And I've owned my own business for the last 8 years, staffing company. And so that does allow me some free time. I feel like there's no better place to do business on a golf course. I mean, where else can you get somebody in a golf cart for 4 hours,
Yeah.
or get somebody alone for 4 hours and you can talk, and you don't even have to talk business, but just
Building relationships.
building that relationship.
Right?
That's right. And so I've been very fortunate over the last, like I said, the last several years to be able to, if I wanted to play, I can play. I'm currently transitioning into a new role in a couple weeks. I'm changing gears and doing something totally different.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll have the same sort of freedom, but I decided to get into outside sales with a building company. And so it's going to be different, but a good challenge. But I have a feeling I'll be playing probably more golf because a lot of folks in that industry tend to like to play golf.
Yeah.
But it's one of those skills that I lived on a golf course, and I just didn't. I never, I'd go out there every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was outside, we had a basketball goal, and it was grass. We didn't have a paved little area, but I wore it down to the dirt, obviously over the years. And if I was outside, typically either I was playing basketball, throwing a tennis ball up against a wall, throwing a football to myself and running and catch. I mean, the things that my kids don't understand. And they're like, what do I do? How do I play? Go figure it out. But I, if I look back, I wish I would have taken it a little bit more serious, would have understand the fundamentals of it early.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a sport that if you're good at it, it's a lot of fun. If you're not good at it and you play with a lot of people who are, it's not fun.
Yeah.
And I tend to play with guys who are really good.
Well, and then you also, for me, like I shy away. I love golf, but I shy away from going and making the effort to go play because I'm not very good. And most of the people I do know that play golf are really good. And it's like, they don't want to play with me.
Yeah.
It's not fun for them either. So I stick to the captain's choice golf tournaments.
Yep.
You have one of those for me, I'm your man.
Yeah.
I can bring a putter. I'll drain a 20-foot putt for you. Guaranteed.
And that's all you got to do for the whole round.
That's right.
When I go to those things, I just want to contribute.
That's
as soon as we take one drive, one iron, or one putt, all right, I did my job.
Yep.
I contributed.
You just let me use one of my shots, and it feels good.
But I think it's a great life sport, and I want my son. He's interested. Mm-hmm. For me growing up, it was all sports all the time. I collected cards. I knew every player on every team, and wrote letters to all these players. Through Sports Illustrated for Kids. don't know if you ever remember that. It would have all
Yeah.
the organizations. You could write. I mean, I did all that. I was obsessed with sports. My son is kind of, he can take it or leave it. Like, he's actually becoming, this year, I've seen him get a little bit more passionate about soccer. He actually goes out and practices on his own, and that's new. And so I don't know that he'll ever be a guy that's going to play gung-ho about sports. But golf, if I can get him started in golf, get him with somebody who can teach him how to swing and all that, that's something he can do, until forever.
Yeah.
But even in high school, it gives him an opportunity to stay active and stay out of trouble.
My boys are starting to really like golf.
Yeah.
They're getting into it. Hammond's got a great after-school program that they'll have a golf coach come in and they do golf. You can basically a golf lesson with a group golf lesson.
Sure.
So my oldest has done that a couple times, but there is a public golf driving range. It might be the Clybourne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Downtown.
Downtown. The small bucket for kids is free. I take them there all the time.
Yeah.
Just we got an hour. We got nothing to do. Let's go hit some balls.
Yeah.
And they start asking to go, hey, we don't have anything going on. Let's go hit some balls. And I'm not going to be able to coach them very well in this, but as long as they're actively trying to do it, I'll pass them off to their grandfather, and
sure, yeah,
he can train them up. And they've started asking to go play with him, and that's what I want. That's a sport that they can connect with him on. He's very, very good.
Yeah,
like he's one of those guys. He's not going to drive it a mile, but he'll hit it straight every time.
Yeah,
and let them go through that experience with him. Something with Pops, and have that ability to say, yeah, now they can golf too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, golf is the ultimate. It's a rules game. I mean, it challenges your integrity.
That's a good point.
And it teaches you different lessons from baseball, from football, and it's also you got to stay. You got to have a quick memory. In golf, if you hit a bad shot, you can't let it linger, and it teaches you how to get through things quickly. Because if you sit there and dote on the last shot, it can affect your whole round. Lou Holtz had a good quote in his book. He said, "I don't get mad when I play golf because I'm just not that good." He's like, "I'm not good enough to get mad."
That's right.
I watch these guys who are really good. They don't get mad. So why am I getting mad? I'm not even any good at it. So I try to have that philosophy on the course.
That is a great philosophy for golf and bowling.
Yeah.
Right.
If I can break 100 in bowling, I'm like, all right, I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
But being competitive, and football was always easy. Basketball came to me easy, came to me natural. Sports did in general, and to have golf, like, I can't tell you why I hit a good shot, and I can't tell you why I hit a bad shot. But you give me a basketball, the minute it leaves my hand, I can pretty much tell you if it's going to go in the goal or in the hoop. And if it's not, I can tell you why.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the thing about golf that's the hardest. I just don't know enough about why I hit it good and why I hit it bad.
Right. And the ones that are really good at it, they can tell you.
They know immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting sport.
Well, the last question of the podcast will be a golf question for you.
All right.
Who has the lowest 72-hole round at the Masters?
That would be Rory, would be my guess, or Spieth, or Tiger. It's going to be one of those three. I'm going to go with Spieth.
It is our homegrown boy, Dustin Johnson.
Is that right?
In 2020, 268.
Okay.
20 under for the whole.
Okay, yeah. I thought you meant single round. The total score.
Yeah, total score.
He's the lowest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Tiger was maybe 18.
Mm-hmm.
Spieth was maybe 18. Rory was on pace, and then he blew it that one year.
Yeah. Well, Chesley, I've really appreciated our conversation.
Yeah,
really
me too.
enjoyed getting to know you better. So when we see each other from across the field, we'll have that connection now. And I appreciate you joining me on the Rub Some Dirt on It podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.